because you think that you're so pretty, and just because you think that you're so hot, just because you think that you got something nobody else has got. Cause me to spend all my money, honey, you laugh and call me old Santa Claus. I'm telling you, baby, I'm through with you. Cause, baby, just because. Never come a time when you be lonesome, never come a time when you be blue, never come a time when old Santa won't pay your bills for you. Cause me to spend all my money, honey, you laugh and call me old Santa Claus. I'm telling you, baby, I'm through with you. Cause, baby, just because. Just because you think that you're so pretty, and just because you think that you're so hot, just because you think that you got something nobody else has got. You cause me to spend all my money, honey, you laugh and call me old Santa Claus. I'm telling you, baby, I'm through with you. Cause, baby, just because. Because, baby, just because. Because, baby, just because.
I like to talk about intros and endings in country songs because there's there's that standard intro that everyone uses. I guess when you did the Luxury Liner record with Emmylou Harris, the tune My San Antone Rose has that real stock country intro. Maybe you could show us how. Let's do that one more time.
I actually played that with the steel.
Oh, really?
It was twin with the steel. Yeah, 3, 4, 1. That, as you say, it's kind of a stock kind of intro.
Yeah, but it's neat because when people who haven't played country, when they find themselves on a country gig, they would be called to do stuff like that. Are there any other tunes that you could think of that have something like that?
Well, I can't think of any that have that an identifiable intro like
Right.
that. But you could fit that kind of intro to, to any sequence really. But that's going.
Let's try one more.
Okay. The same.
Okay. 2, 3. That's beautiful.
I mean, it's just variations on the theme.
Yeah, well,
really,
but it's neat to do those great variations because I figure the more people study the different variations, the more they can combine them and come up with something of their own. Let's do one more. Maybe you can do it somewhere up in the neck.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. So maybe you can also show us some endings because there's like these classic cadenza riffs, especially in E and in G that.
Well, yeah.
There's like that. I know there's like this real great pull-off lick that you do in G. That's.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, there's one you do in G where you use open string. Yeah, like that. That's great. Yeah. Yeah, so how would that fit in the context of a tune?
I was thinking more of a slower tune, really.
Okay, sure. Is there one that maybe spans the neck a little bit where you can go? Right.
That kind of thing.
Very good, yeah. Let's do it again. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I've noticed again that you do that minor major third thing where you're playing the C natural here over the A, and then you go into the C sharp, which you do that a lot in your playing.
I've got a good one for you.
Okay,
This is
great.
one I did at the end of Salt Creek
Great.
on my album there.
Great.
That's the same length there.
Great. Let's slow it down. This is real killer.
I'll be able to remember that one, you see.
Okay. I noticed in your soloing that you sometimes do a real neat rhythmic figure where it's kind of a quasi chicken picking move where you swallow 3 notes and then play a full one, like kind of something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe you could.
Yeah. Oh, well, I've incorporated that a lot over the years.
Yeah.
And I think I got it from Don Rich of the Buckaroos.
Right,
You know,
sure.
he did a. Well, I think the track was called Chicken Picking.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. So what you're doing is you're approaching the bottom note. You're playing sixth, and you're approaching the bottom note chromatically and using it as a with a triplet.
Yeah.
So it's kind of neat. Yeah. And as you're just basically running kind of a scale down, but
that's it, simplified, really.
yeah. So what do you do with your right hand to give it that real clucking sound?
Well,
you mute somewhere?
Yeah, I'm muting those. And letting the top note ring clean.
And I also noticed that you're plucking the top note with a finger rather than with a pick.
Yeah, I'm doing.
Which
make it
finger
slap, you know, with a little finger.
Oh, with a little finger. Now, how would you use this approach in your own style, where you could combine it with some other things in like a run?
I suppose I would use it in rocking occasionally, you know.
Yeah.
But actually, I tend to, if I'm doing rock, I'll tend to do it more on one note, more on one note. Just to give
that's really neat.
accent to the note.
And you do the same thing. You pick the three notes and you pluck the top note with your pinky. Yeah. Maybe you could run that note, that riff up again, like the way you. I've also noticed in some of your playing that you use tenths, which is you would play a bass note and then a third an octave away, and run scales up and down. Can you show that to us?
Yeah, I always liked the sound of that ever since I heard Chet Atkins
Oh,
do
really?
it, you know.
Yeah.
And,
Great. Let's look at the shape, some of the shapes that you play there. There's a basic A chord, and then when you play, okay, so there you're playing the B with your first finger on the 5th string, and the D natural with your pinky on the 2nd string. And you're picking that the low note is with a pick, and the high note is with
my ring finger.
with your ring finger. Great. And then you just move that up a whole step, and you get a C sharp minor sound. And there you get a D major sound. And that's, you're playing the D with your first finger and the F sharp with your 4th finger.
Yeah, it's the same fingering each time, you know.
Yeah, except, right. And there's an E. That's an F sharp minor.
Well, actually, I'd think of that as a D.
Oh, really?
Over the D chord.
Oh, great. Okay. So that would be right. So that would be a D over an F sharp bass.
Yeah, because there at that position, the third is in the
bass.
Is in the bass.
Neat.
Yeah.
So you got D, E, D again, and then you play, and then you play an E using that same fingering with the third in the bass. In this case, the G sharp in the bass, right? And then there's an A with it.
Yeah.
That's great. Could you run that down again, please?
Yeah.
Thanks. So that's just a major scale,
Just a
harmonized
major,
intense, yeah.
Yeah, you can get some really neat effects.
Yeah, and
with
Chet
that.
used to do a lot of that, you say.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's the master of that.
Yeah. You did kind of something in E too, where you.
Yeah, I carried on down
All right, yeah.
to the.
Oh, that's neat. So what do we have there? We have an that's an A, so.
That's the A, yeah.
Right. And that's the same thing, an E with a G sharp with a third in the bass.
Yeah.
And then there's a D with the third in the bass also with the F sharp.
There you go.
Is that how you see it, or do you see
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
I'm thinking of that as a D chord.
Yeah, it's a D chord, right.
Yeah. That's an E chord.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, it's nice. So let's just take that up the scale there on the lower fourth.
Okay. Scale in E.
There's the A, and that's a B. It's a C sharp minor to. Okay, it's the same thing as on the middle 2 strings, but you do it on the E and on the G string. Let's run that slowly again so that people. Okay. Right. A. Right. E. Now you see that as an A with a C sharp in the bass.
Yeah.
Right, and then there's a B with a D sharp in the bass.
Yeah.
And there's an E. That's really neat. Where would you use these kind of voicings? Over a ballad or?
Yeah. Usually, yeah. I probably wouldn't play a whole thing,
whole scale,
a line
just
like
little-
that, but I
little
just
more.
occasionally I'll just slip it in, yeah, in the context of you know,
let's do that.
doing it. know, just something that I use in passing.
Yeah.
I don't stick around on one thing for too long,
Right,
you know. I mean,
right.
I don't know if that's good or bad, you know. It
Yeah.
makes it, I tend not to play too many signature licks that
Right.
way, you know, and
That's why you have a signature style.
yeah, I suppose it's, that's why it's different, you know. But
Yeah. But it's just another weapon to have in your arsenal if you can
absolutely,
grab those
yeah.
kind of voicings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've always loved that. you
Yeah.
know.
That little passage you played before that, I've also noticed that you used thirds and sixths, and those are very common in your playing, where you would play a run in thirds or a little passage in thirds. So maybe you could show us.
That kind of thing?
Yeah, that kind of thing, yeah. So we're in G right now. Okay, so we have a B and the D with the second and the first finger on the G and the B strings, okay? And then we go to C and E. And that's and is that how you would play your thirds? You wouldn't bar it. You'd play them with your third and fourth fingers.
Yeah.
In this kind of application.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I was playing a
Right.
a run, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you move that up a whole step, that shape, to D and F sharp with your third and fourth fingers, right? And then you have E and G with your first and second fingers again. And then you end it with a sixth. So you just ended your run in thirds.
Yeah.
And that's a C, and that's a G there, and the last two are sixths.
I guess I owe a lot to Chet Atkins because I mean, listening to that, I mean, I learned that from those old Don Gibson records. You know,
Right,
I mean, he
right.
just did wonderful stuff. You know, with the old Bigsby as
Yeah.
well. You know, and it's,
And that's a neat way of playing a sixth there. That shape where you played the B with your first finger and the G.
I guess that's where country music owes a lot to Hawaiian music too.
Really?
I think it sounds Hawaiian to me.
So let's play a little waltz. Maybe you can throw in the thirds and sixths and see what we come up with. Okay. One. noticed that you were using a vibrato over the chords. It made it sound really...
I mean, I love to do that, you know.
We'll just grab a chord. Let's grab a chord and just show the vibrato. So you're shaking both notes. I've noticed that you approach a lot of your thirds, you might say chromatically, where you would go from, say, C to D, you'd go that kind of thing, or... Could you show us a couple of moves like that? Let's see that move right there where you go. That's really neat.
I may look like a city slicker, shining up through my shoes. Underneath I'm just a cotton picker, picking out a mess of blues. Show me where I start, find a horse and cart. I'm just a country boy at I may talk like a bank teller, pushing facts in a fire, but I'd rather be a hog caller, chewing cat on the style. Read, change and mark, find a horse and cart. I'm just a country boy at heart. I may look like a city slicker, shining up through my shoes. Underneath I'm just a cotton picker, picking out residue. Show me where I start, find a horse and cart. I'm just a country boy at heart.
I've seen you do these kind of rolls when you play chords, and you do that style where you alternate, and then you do the rolls with the other fingers of your right hand.
Oh yeah, when I turn it into more like a banjo kind of thing,
exactly,
when I do
yeah.
That, I mean, I was trying to imitate the banjo, you know,
really.
but not being able to use the thumb pick again, and not really able to get on with it. You know, I figured out a way of alternating the flat pick and the fingers.
You have to show us that banjo pattern, that classic one in G. Okay, so you're picking with the thumb, and then
with the flat pick and
okay, well, I'm sorry, with the flat pick, you're picking, and then hitting you're holding the G with your third finger on the fourth string. Then the G on the third string is open, and you're holding the D on the second string with your first finger, and you're going pick, ring finger, and middle finger.
Yeah.
Right, and then you
no, I'm using little finger, not the ring finger.
Oh, the little finger. And that's the same pattern.
No, I'm alternating there. I'm using the pick on the second and the third string there.
Oh.
Well, you can just go back and forth. It's whatever feels comfortable to me at the time, you know. And that's why I can never play the same thing twice, you know, because I'll start doing something and I'll just go off in a different direction and maybe use slightly different fingering to what I used before, and it'll take me in a different direction. You know?
Yeah, but the time is always still there and rock solid. So
well, yeah, that's what I try and to maintain. You know, I'm very conscious of that. You know, I really love to be right next to the drums, you know, just have it pounding away, you know, and then it just gives me the freedom to move around more.
Yeah, you're noted for your solid time, how you effortlessly keep the groove going throughout.
Well, I try to. As I say, I try to be very conscious of that, you know. But I play if I'm having a tough time hearing that pulse, then I find I play very stiff, you know, and because I'm trying to play that pulse and play around with it, and it just doesn't happen, you know. But when I've got the freedom to stretch out, you know, then it's a lot easier for me, you know.
Yeah. A real common kind of progression that I've seen you do, I believe, at the end of Country Boy, where you go from E to A to D to G, and you use a lot of these shapes. Would you mind running the progression using these chord shapes?
Sure.
Great.
Okay, right.
That's great, yeah. That was really neat stuff that you played. Maybe you can go over some of these chord shapes that you just played. Especially, I noticed you moving this shape where you play two open strings Yeah, let's look at that.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
you played that over an E7th chord, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was, you know, just by moving that down a semitone at a time, it'll work with that sequence.
Right,
you know?
a semitone being a half step.
Yeah.
Right. Let's just take a look at that chord. So you're playing the G sharp with your first finger, the D with your second finger, and then the B is the open string and E is open. And that gives you a straight E7th chord.
Yeah.
And then over the A7th, you move down a half step, and you get the G with your first finger, the C sharp with your second finger, the B and the E are open. So that functions as an A9 chord because the B is the 9 in the chord.
Mm-hmm.
You move that down again, a half step, and that's D13th. Where you got the third, the F sharp with your first finger, the flat 7th, the C with your second finger. The open B functions as a 13, and the E functions as the 9.
Yeah.
And then we go to, this is another kind of G13th chord. The F natural is the flat 7th, the B is the 3rd, and then you double the B, the open B on the B string, and the E functions as the 13th.
Yeah.
Well, just for someone who's just starting out on this roll, it'd be really neat if we could just, That's great. Let me set up a real slow groove, and maybe that'll help you
Okay.
play it slowly, because
Okay.
people are just dying to find out these kind of moves. Okay.
Wait for another one. Keep going. This one is simpler,
This
actually.
is great. Let's try playing that faster so we get the idea what that sounds like, and then we'll break it down.
Simpler because you're only using three
Three
strings.
strings,
here.
okay.